This exercise is ankle eversion, passive stretch, and PAILs and RAILs. Now, I won't lie to you, this is a tricky mistress, particularly if you have very stiff ankles and you're just not used to any sensation going in there at all. It may be helpful to have a towel, or if you do have wedges, or if you've even got a slant board, that can be helpful. Without the towel first, I'm going to just talk through the area on my left foot where we want to feel the stretch. Now, an ankle is no different to the rest of our other joints, apart from the spine, where we want to try and improve rotation, or in this instance of the ankle, tilting, before we attack the sort of linear aspect of a joint. So with your ankle, you have eversion, which is out to the side, and inversion, which is the sort of classic roll your ankle. So we're going to improve eversion today. The area where I want you to feel the stretch when we do our passive is this bottom corner here, behind the bony process of your ankle and towards the Achilles tendon. Now, as I said, it's a tricky mistress in order to find. By all means, you are welcome to lean onto a wall here. You may even find it easier to try and find that stretch in this position. As with everything that we do, intention is more important than position. And because it's so tricky, or it can be tricky, it really is going to be up to you just to try and get into whatever position you need to be in order to feel the stretch in this sort of back corner. So if I show you one setup here without the towel, first of all, I'm going to push my knee forwards, and then I'm going to take my knee to the inside of my big toe. I keep my heel driving down, so I don't want my heel to come up. Now that internal line in towards the middle will help me get into this space here. And I'm going to push forward towards my end range as long as my heel is on the floor, and that is where I'm going to do my passive stretch. I would stay here for 2 minutes, breathing very, very slowly through the nose, and then I would then start my PAILs and RAILs. Now for the PAILs and RAILs, I will put myself onto a tilt now. So using that towel, I can take myself into more eversion by putting the outside of my foot higher than the ball of my foot. So you can see I'm already tilted. I go into my stretch, and I'm feeling that in that back corner. Now, when we do PAILs, just like any other joint, when we're doing PAILs, what we want to do is create force or load going into the stretch tissue. So as I've gone into my end range, I can feel the stretch in the back of my ankle. And in order to load that now, I'm going to push down with the outside of my foot, as if I was going to come out of eversion. I will stay in eversion, okay, in order to maximize the load, or be very specific with the load on the inside of that ankle. So I'm forward, I've done my 2-minute passive stretch, and now I start to try and drive the outside of my foot going down to the floor. I would then hold that, ramping up to the intensity that's in my program for as long as it's in my program. And then after that, I would switch to a RAILs contraction. So therefore, I want to train the regressive tissue, so the opposite side that is being stretched. So now I'm going to try and actively pull myself into more eversion by trying to get this part of my foot to touch my shin. So lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, all the while staying in end range. If this you find difficult on the quad, by all means you can step forward and put your hands onto something, onto a wall. And then go again. I would then push the outside of my foot down, and then try and pull out, connecting with the opposite side of the stretch stuff. trying to actively pull for more in the rails. Like as I said, a little bit of a tricky one, but when you get it, it can be a powerful tool in order to release more dorsiflexion, which is knee over toe.